Welcome back to Pebble series, differentiating the difficulties with me Kavya Tendral. If you have not subscribed our channel, do subscribe for more interesting videos like this, and as well don't forget to press the bell icon so that you will receive a daily video notification. Today our prime objective is to make the ideas to remember concept and remember and retrieve at the critical time of demand, especially at orals and as well some MCQ exams. We are going to discuss about the ophthalmic points. First is extraocular muscles. We know extraocular muscles are 7, of which we divide as 1 plus 6. 1 is the muscle of upper lid, that is levator palpebris superioris, and the 6 are divided in turn into oblique and recti. And we know all the extraocular muscles supplied by the third cranial nerve oculomotor except superior oblique by fourth nerve and lateral rectus by sixth nerve. We remember like SO4 and LR6. Now before we actually go to this proper, let us know how to easily remember the palsy. First is oculomotor palsy. Write the number 3, put the arrow mark, that's it. So whenever you write a number in the page, it is always outside, that is outside the line. So this arrow mark is pointing outside, that is abduction component, abduction. It is going down, so it is depression. It is rotating out, so it is extorsion. This is coming down again, so it is drooping of eyelid, ptosis component. These are all the components of complete third nerve palsy: abduction, depression, extorsion and ptosis. When it comes to fourth nerve and sixth nerve, we'll remember the function only. Fourth nerve supplying superior oblique, so we'll see the functions of superior oblique. Before that, we'll complete sixth nerve. Sixth nerve supplying lateral rectus. Lateral rectus is going to do abduction. Come back to fourth nerve. Again put arrow marks 1, 2, 3. Here rather putting an arrow mark, we'll put this and make it perpendicular. Simple. Now let us write this is intorsion because it's going inside. It's going inside, so it is intorsion. Next, it is coming down, so it is depression and abduction. These are the 3 functions of superior oblique: intorsion, depression and abduction. Both fourth nerve and sixth nerve is doing abduction function. Now coming here, very simple, whenever there is an injury to the third nerve of 2 different etiology. One is a compressive etiology. Here the peripheral pupillary fibers are affected, in turn reflecting dilated pupil. Because pupillary fibers are parasympathetic to pupil. What is parasympathetic to pupil is it causes miosis. So that myotic miosis causing fibers are affected, in turn that is resulting in presentation with mydriasis or dilated pupil. But when the pathology is different because of vascular pathology per se, that is a defect in the vasa nervorum that causes motor fibers defect rather than the pupillary fibers. And that is what is defected here also. First, there will be any external aneurysm that in turn compresses superficial parasympathetic that presents as dilated pupil. Coming to sixth nerve palsy, very simple. Sixth nerve is basically causing abduction. In palsy, abduction is lost. How to test? Do abduct the eye. If the eye is not abducted completely, no abduction, it is complete or total palsy. If there is an abduction but we can visualize the lateral sclera, then that is partial sixth nerve palsy. Next, coming to here, one important clinching feature is the dilated pupil. There is a dilated pupil. And what are the other components? The eye is extorted. There is a mild ptosis component. So it is an extortion. There is a ptosis. And there is dilated pupil. And there is also depression of eyeball lightly. So it is again coming like this. So there is abduction, depression, extorsion, ptosis. All the components are here. So we have discussed it is the third cranial nerve palsy, oculomotor nerve, complete oculomotor nerve palsy. Now soft exudate, hard exudate. We know S for S, soft exudate is superficial, and it is also called as cotton wool spot. These are basically nerve fiber layer infarct. Therefore, cotton wool spots are misnomer. Hard exudate, it is basically D for D, it is a deep layer injury. Basically here what is happening is the lipids are getting deposited from the exudate, and that results as hard exudate. This hard exudate has a clear cut border than the soft exudate, which is very like soft, and it does not have any underline demarcated borders. Next on the list is inferior rectus. Inferior rectus, first of thyroid ophthalmopathy, the first nerve affected, muscle affected is inferior rectus. It goes this way: medial rectus, superior rectus, and lateral rectus. Therefore, the first muscle getting entrapped in thyroid ophthalmopathy is inferior rectus, and the first commonly affected muscle in blowout fracture, because we know the blowout fracture is commonly affecting the floor. The muscle associated with the floor directly is the inferior rectus, so there will be entrapment of the inferior rectus muscle in the floor, and thereby causing decreased extraocular motility. Next is Ising rule. Ising rule is basically associated with glaucoma. They say like the thickness of neuroretinal rim is in this order: inferior, superior, nasal, and temporal. So whenever there is a involvement of inferior and superior component thinning of this neuroretinal rim, then that is suggestive of a pathognomic for primary open angle glaucoma. That is Ising rule. Next, coming to the conjunctival reaction, there are three reactions: papillary, follicular, and granulomatous. We'll discuss papillary and follicular. To remember this, we'll remember like this. P is like this. So let us consider this to be a vessel. So a vessel is coming here, and a reactive component is here. So it means a vessel in the center, or a tuft of vessel or capillary which is present in the center, and there is an inflammatory cells being present there. This is papillary. This looks like a glomerulus, right? Okay, so as far as papillary, we remember two things. One, it is glomerulus like bunch of capillaries. Two, it has a tuft of capillary which is present in the center. Basically, it is only hyperplasia of normal vascular system in the conjunctiva. When it comes to follicles, we'll remember again like this. So follicles, FOL, like following. When someone is following, what will happen at any point of time, they will gather at one place. So if some other following them, then they will be surrounding them like this, right? Yes. Here in follicular reaction, what is happening is there is adenoid hyperplasia. Adenoid layer is basically second layer of conjunctiva histologically. So there is accumulation of adenoid. What is there in adenoid is just T cells, lymphocytes, and what is surrounding this is the vessels. So one important thing here is, as far as follicles is concerned, the vessels are surrounded like this. As far as papillae is concerned, the vessel is in the center. Here the vessels can pass through over the follicles also. Follicles are yellowish white, round elevation. They are basically lymphocytic aggregation. Now again coming here to recognize that here we could see this is a papillary reaction and this is the follicular reaction, because here there is a nodule and surrounded that there is a surrounding vessels, erythematous thing we can see, whereas here there is entire conjunctiva. All the layers are hyperplastic. The vascular hyperplasticity we can see here, and added to that we can see a central vessels which is present in that. Unlikely the follicles, it is not presented like that. Thank you so much for your patient listening.